We're back here on Yaffee Live, Talk Radio 102.3. Glad you've joined the show today, and it's Thursday. That means Brandon Lewis joins the show as well. He is a contributor, founder of the Tennessee Conservative, which you can read every day at TennesseeConservativeNews.com. We always talk Tennessee news and politics. Brandon, how are you today, good sir?
I'm outstanding. And, here before long, people are going to actually be able to see this on video if we get this properly done. We're doing an experiment. And so maybe you can find this on any of our social channels for Tennessee Conservative, and I'll send the file over to Yaffee. I'm glad to be here. Merry Christmas, buddy.
Yeah, Merry Christmas as well. I guess it's probably the last time you'll be on before Christmas. So yeah, it's going to be really good. Yeah, we're testing out the video. The video doesn't work today. We'll have the audio, of course. The audio is always up on your website, TennesseeConservativeNews.com. But well, yeah, we'll have to test out the video and see. I'm looking at like the camera and I'm like, okay, I got to make sure I look okay. I got to
You
make sure the
you
hair
look
is good.
you look beautiful. You look beautiful.
Yeah, maybe help with the angle a little bit. Well, you're not in it, Max, so you don't have to worry about it. You're
Well,
okay.
Max,
Yeah.
well,
All
we
right.
we we know Max has a face for radio, so maybe we
Uh-huh.
leave him off. I don't know.
Okay. So let's talk about one of the stories you have on your site. Conservative Tennessee lawmakers could challenge the controversial reproductive rights bill in 2026 that some are saying will kind of open the door to abortion again in the state of Tennessee. What do you think about this, Brandon?
Well, anytime you have a bill that is supported by the ACLU, Planned Parenthood, 24 Democrats, and Bill Lee signs it into law, you know that there are things that you could be concerned about. It was initially represented by Republicans Iris Rutter and Becky Massey, who have not been very conservative as of late, as a benign act to just make sure that people could seek fertility treatments in the state. But it was deemed dangerous by conservatives and pro-life advocacy groups because its disregard for the state's scientific definition of an unborn child, and even Gino Bolso tried to expose the potential pitfalls of the legislation and amend the bill on the House floor, which you rarely see anyone stand up and try to amend a bill on the House floor. There really isn't much debate, Yaffee, in the Tennessee legislature. Cameron Sexton and Randy McNally have a very top down, not very GOP primary voter friendly method of governing. And if you ever try to represent your constituents on the floor, and if it's in conflict with what leadership wants, they'll take away your committee leadership positions, they'll blackball you, your legislation will be killed. It's not really designed to work for the voters. It's designed to work for the powerful. And even after the bill voted, both chambers of the legislature, and it was passed, 11 lawmakers sent a letter asking to Bill Lee to veto the bill, which is highly unusual. I mean, for lawmakers to put their John Hancock on a letter and send it to the bill and spend some political capital is a big deal. Yet, Bill Lee signed it into law. It amazes me how many laws that he signed that weren't conservative and how many conservative laws that went to his desk that he would not sign. But they pass anyway if he doesn't sign them after a certain amount of time. So we now see that, lots of different liberal organizations are sounding the alarm that this potential foothold, may be under review from conservatives in the next legislative session.
Yeah, you make a good point. Usually, you can tell something by who's coming out strongly against it. So the fact that these groups are coming out very strongly against it shows that there's a reason why. And when I say against it, the change is being made here. What do you think, though? I mean, do you think that this will get support of the majority of the legislature?
Think it probably will. I mean, defining the things that Gino Bolso said will likely make it through a committee vote. You've just got a lot of really pro-choice Republicans. I mean, we even had, for example, she's running for re-election over in Eastridge. Esther Helton has fallen into this category on a number of different issues. Just because people run for office as Republican doesn't necessarily mean that they share, take, or advocate for their constituents' views up in the legislature or on the school board or in the county commission. They rightly believe in many cases that folks aren't paying attention and that people have short memories, both of which are largely true until you run against somebody who can remind people of your record on election day. And so we'll see how this shakes out. But I imagine someone will at least make an attempt to claw these loopholes shut. And I'm sure that the left and the Democrats and the rhinos will try to give them friction over it. But we'll see
Hmm.
what happens.
Well, yeah, they thought they had an opportunity here to get those loopholes in there. They really thought they could kind of sneak it in there, and no, no, we should not let that happen. Speaking with Brandon Lewis of the Tennessee Conservative, one thing you and I talk a lot about, Brandon, is illegal immigration and getting rid of the magnet when it comes to areas in the state for illegal immigrants to want to live in the state. And you have a story here. Nashville educators and parents conspired to protect illegal aliens from ICE. I guess not too surprising. It's coming out from parts of Nashville. Even the mayor there is pretty much, if he hasn't crossed the line on this issue, he's walked right up to that line. But yeah, what do you think about this? First, tell us what's going on here, and then tell us what you think.
Well, the first thing I think is kind of funny is as many things that liberals jump on a bandwagon for, a lot of times it's just a whole bunch of virtue signaling and how woke can I appear to the community of people that I work with, that I live with, that I go to school. The first thing is ICE has not been targeting schools, and there have not been any reports, and by any I mean there have been zero reports in Tennessee of immigration arrests being made on school grounds. So that's the first thing, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But after a streak of ICE enforcement activities in Nashville last week, teachers and parents are rallying, against what? I don't know because they're not, going after these areas to protect those folks. And that includes patrolling the streets. I'd really love to be in that neighborhood watch. I'm sure that is a clown car full of liberals and City Migrant Watch. They've got a hyphenated name here, Migrant Watch, posting photos on social media of what they believe are ICE vehicles and empty work vans left by those they detained. And so they're going to bus stops, they're walking people to school. But the fact of the matter is, most of these ICE raids and things of that nature have been going after areas that are high crime, where there's human trafficking, where there are drugs, where there are people that have warrants out for the arrest when folks have failed to show up for court appearances because they've committed crimes. I mean, that's who they're primarily going after. And I think a lot of this is just more to placate the folks in their community and to signal to other woke activists that they are indeed trying to do something. It's funny. I've got, you have neighbors and stuff that put all these yard signs and things of the nature in their yard, and you're trying to signal how woke they are and put the Ukraine flag up. And I ran into a fellow like this the other day, and I asked him, I said, what have you physically done? Have you sent any money? Have you done anything at all to help the Ukraine situation? No. Have you done anything to help the illegal immigrant community? I see you've got this sign. No. It's just a bunch of virtue signaling because when push comes to shove, most liberals, frankly, when it comes to their finances, when it comes to their families, they live a much more conservative life than what they portray on social media.
Interesting. Okay. I mean, in some ways, that's a good thing, though, right? In some ways, it's like, oh, I'm glad they're not, living up to the core of their convictions or whatever.
Yeah, I'd much rather them stay at home and get in the holy or unholy huddle, I guess we would call it, and just talk to one another. I don't want them out engaging. I want them, just blowing off steam in a way that doesn't make a difference. But frankly, a lot of conservatives are guilty of doing that too. And
Yeah.
so I don't know. I think this is just a bunch of folks trying to catch headlines for something that really isn't happening.
Got to tell you, one of my biggest pet peeves in politics is we'll get to a presidential election or any election, and they won't like either candidate. And then I'll ask, well, did you vote in the primary? No. Well, I mean, you could have, be a part of the process then. If you really think that, say, you're a Republican and we need a better Republican candidate or something, aren't you good? At least participate, at the very least, vote in the primary. And then a lot of times they don't.
Now, could you do any less?
Right.
Could you do any less? Like, what would less look like to you? And so, I believe that conservatives, A, we got to show up and vote and turn out, but B, we got to write checks to conservative candidates because the corporations are writing them to the rhinos and the Democrats. And then we need to, hell, knock on 10 doors in your neighborhood for somebody, make 10 phone calls, go to an event, hold a sign, do something, if nothing else, guys, to allay your guilty conscience. If sitting on the couch and watching, 15 hours of Fox News was going to fix the country, it would have been fixed already.
Yeah, well, yeah, that's a good point. You talked about a sign, people post the signs in the yard. I saw one this week that said F, actually had the word though, but it said F ice. And I don't know if it was just a joke because it's like cold or it was supposed to be a play on words that it's cold, but I was like, first I'm just annoyed because like my kid's in the car and people post curse words and stuff that annoys me. But that was one example I saw recently I think it's in the St. Elmo area or something. So I'm speaking with Brandon Lewis. He's the founder of the Tennessee Conservative. Let's talk about what's going on with Ford. Pretty amazing stuff. So the Trump administration comes in and they're getting rid of a lot of the EV mandates because people are still not buying the EVs. And Ford now has scrapped plans for an electric pickup at Blue Oval City plant. They want it to be a gas powered, truck models that are built there. What do you think?
Think it's hilarious to watch the Lee administration backpedal on this. It's a glorious day. I mean, not only has Ford and almost every other auto manufacturer lost about $2 billion to $3 billion per year trying to push this crap that nobody wants, hoping desperately that the government will mandate something that the market doesn't want, using your tax dollars and mine. But now they delayed and then they've changed. We've given them $1 billion in Tennessee tax money. It's wildly unpopular. When you survey conservatives, it's unpopular. When you survey people across the state, it still doesn't cross the 50% line. But rhinos, because they get PAC checks and everything else, continue to push this. And so, there has repeatedly been instance after instance where Republicans will give these large corporations, often, at the expense of mom and pop businesses like Whataburger and things of that nature. I mean, we shouldn't have to give out corporate incentives for people to come to Tennessee and serve hamburgers. Like that's pretty easy business to get into. And when mom and dad have been doing it across the road, then we take money out of their pocket to fund their competitors. I don't think that's conservative. But now, Ford Motor Company is still delaying and doing nothing. And they promised, what was it? About 6,000 jobs.
Mm-hmm.
We've seen zero jobs, but the money has been allocated. The money is being spent to develop the
Uh-huh.
infrastructure, and there's no accountability. I have seen, and if somebody has seen it, please let me know. I have not seen a single instance where one of these corporations has failed to deliver on their promises and then have to pay back the tax money that has been given to them by Republicans. It's a shame,
Ah,
and it's something that conservatives don't like, Democrats don't like, but rhinos like.
yeah, it's something I wish so much we could get rid of corporate capitalism, crony capitalism in this country. I know it's so tempting because if you don't do it, another state does it. To me, it always just made sense, though. Make taxes low for everyone, make it a business friendly environment for everyone, and people are going to want to do business in your state. If it's a business friendly environment, low regulation, low taxes for everyone, we just can't seem to do it. In Republican or Democrat states just can't seem to get rid of this crony capitalism stuff.
I think it's I think it's I think it's a falsehood, and I think it's just Republicans lining their pockets with corporate money so they don't have to go out and raise money in their district because it takes time, money, and you have to actually build relationships and listen to your constituents. Whereas
Mm-hmm.
those corporations, they give you 5, 10, 20, 30, $100,000, and all you have to do is compromise your convictions and go against your voters in your district, but most of them never even keep up or know. I mean, what a temptation that is. And most people without a lot of conservative moorings prey to it. But there's a reason that companies are fleeing California despite the fact that they dole out corporate welfare left and right. It's because you start out with these false premises, you adopt them, internalize them, your government gets corrupt, and then after a while, it doesn't matter how much you go to the left on this
Collapses.
corporate stuff, it collapses. And
Mm-hmm.
I hate seeing Tennessee trend in this direction, and I hope our next conservative governor doesn't do so much of it or frankly any of it at all.
Yeah, I'm with you. I'm not optimistic because it just seems like it's a trend. across the country. I mean, not just here, across the country. But I think you're exactly right. Brandon Lewis, founder of the Tennessee Conservative. Read this story, read this stuff, get this interview at TennesseeConservativeNews.com. Subscribe for free. It'll show up in your email inbox. Brandon, I always appreciate you coming on. Hopefully, we'll talk to you again soon. Merry Christmas. Happy New Year.
Awesome, buddy. I can't see. Can't wait to see you after the first of the year, and I hope Santa Claus brings you everything you want, but not what you deserve.
All right. Yeah, I'm with you. All right. Talk to you soon, my friend. We'll be back here in a moment on Yaffee Live.